The Battle of Britain is about to begin.
Debrief, we got danger up there. Let's follow a radio on Debrief. I'm doing out right on the target right now. I've got a couple of these right in front of me. I'm going out for it. Right, I got him.
Welcome back to the Lead Pursuit podcast. You know, tonight, when we're going to talk about something that, well, is already in the past and isn't a new game, it's weird. I've got 4 other members of the podcast. Well, really 3. I don't know what we should call our ally. I mean, he's kind of like our minor nation that sometimes comes to the fight. But, you know, we are joined by Evan from Iron Dice. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing great. I'm tired, but that's fine. It's late.
Tired? No one cares if you're tired.
It's late at night. It's late. You guys record at like midnight, basically.
We do. We don't record at boomer hours. But speaking of boomers, I've definitely got Brett on the podcast. Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
You've recovered? Survived?
Yeah. You know, my whole outlook on life is adjusted into a more positive space after taking some time off and going to play games.
I wouldn't have thought that after having to put up with, Steve and I for the weekend. But yeah, it is. Steve, we managed not to drive Brett to drink more than he usually does. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, we made it. We all, my life has also been reformed to a more positive life since
You've been
NashCon,
enlightened.
So.
You achieved nirvana enlightenment while you were there. Yeah. We won't talk about that. And speaking of the man who masters things we don't talk about because he'll send us all to jail for it, Matt, how you doing, Matt?
Oh, I'm all right. Just happy I've got a sleeping baby and can actually be on tonight.
Sleeping baby, and I can.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We'll try not to make her scream. We'll be very quiet.
I'm coming to your house and beating you up if you wake her up. Actually, no, I'm even better. I'm just going to hand her off to you. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, exactly. I will hand her to the baby whisperer, my wife. She is much better with them than I am. I'm like, please take this screaming poop factory. Anyway, so now you know why I don't have kids. But back to the matter at hand. NashCon, debrief. Did everyone have fun? I had a miserable time. It was horrible. No fun. Never. Don't want to do it again. 1 star, would not recommend. What about you guys?
My only disappointment is we never made it downtown. Wasn't it like goth girl night or something?
Emo.
Downtown?
It was emo. It was My Chemical Romance emo night. Yeah. Evan.
What? It wasn't my idea. It was Brett's idea.
Thought it was Brett's idea.
Not.
Steve, you had enough fun without going downtown, but was the con fun overall?
I really liked it. Definitely smaller than what we usually go to, you know, the Historicon or Fallen or Adepticon. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it was 700-ish people for the weekend is what NashCon kind of put out in the Discord as we were talking afterwards. And I actually had a great time. I joke when I say 1 star, would not recommend. I love smaller conventions. I don't class it as a small convention. I guess I think of those as Doug's Private Wargaming Party or Siege of Vicksburg, things that are, low number count down there. But I had a really good time. And I think there was a good spread of events. It was funny to me. So that convention center is chopped up big time. And there are games going on that if you don't wander around, you'll have no idea where they are. And they're like a different tournament, so they're not in the events listing. Chris came back and said, "Hey, man, where were the 40K guys?" And we're like, "Yeah, that was the big room that had the cage match in it." Oh, yeah, I didn't go in that room. So you could miss entire genres of miniature wargaming if you weren't careful. But I thought it was still good. Matt, you missed out. Sorry, man.
I know. I remember the last time I went, like we started wandering around and realized there was a Marvel Crisis Protocol had this giant table set up in one room. It was absolutely gorgeous, but it was like tucked away in like 2 turns back. And I think I got lost on the way back trying to find the bathroom and I never saw it again.
that room was still in play, and I can't remember if it was MCP or who was it. MCP that was all the way back there. Yeah, There were a lot of different ones spread around this year. And we had an awesome setup. So the team there at NashCon gave us the entire back room that we had there previously. So we didn't have to have Steve and Evan and everybody out there scaring the small children off. They were hidden in the back, but it was a great setup. So I had a thorough blast back there with a room to ourselves. Didn't have to share tables. Didn't have to move stuff around too bad until we kind of ran out of our own spaces. We're trying to host too many games and playtest merge. So, Steve, Evan, Brett, you guys got a lot of merged games in. I think you got more merged games in than I did.
I was just gonna say I got stuck playtesting some dude's home rules all weekend.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Terrible, horrible set of rules. They're great once you make some home rules to those homebrew rules. Yeah. If you have not checked it out and you want a good laugh, or would like to find more info about the game, you can go to leadpursuit.net/merged. And that will take you straight to our website with some awesome quotes from our playtest team telling you how much they love the game or not. Anyway, let's talk through kind of chronologically. I don't think we want to talk about any Thursday night stuff. We all kind of got there. Not much Thursday night shenanigans, just everybody getting settled. Friday was the big game day. Friday at, let me think here, 2 p.m. we kicked off with Aeronautica that thankfully Rick, Miriam, and Connor did all of, so I didn't have to do a darn thing. It was nice. What were we doing at that time? Were we playing Merged still again?
I think Steve and I went over and played a game of Blue Max Light, right?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I really liked that. I had heard good things about Blue Max, and I knew nothing, but got to get my hands on it, and I really enjoyed it. Even
Steve, what'd you think?
Antenna stands or whatever.
Steve was horrified by the antenna stands.
Did it have antenna stands? Oh man!
See, he didn't even notice.
We didn't play with altitude, but they were.
Gotcha.
Normally played that way, yeah.
I really liked it. I had never played Blue Max before either, and it's kind of one of those games that when you talk to, let's call them more experienced tabletop gamers, they're
not grognards. They're not classically trained. There you go.
They oftentimes say like, oh, this is similar to Blue Max, or oh, this came from Blue Max, or oh, this idea, I think this is the way Blue Max used to be. So it seems like kind of one of those foundational aerial games that a lot of other aerial games have borrowed from, right? And having gone back and played that game with you, it was very easy to see those influences in the games that we play, right? But I really had a lot of fun with it also. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. I saw you guys playing in there. I didn't join in that game. I was busy roaming the vendor hall, seeing what money I could spend and trying not to spend it. Or going through the flea market. We didn't do kind of a Wally's basement challenge. Didn't do a flea market challenge. I was kind of disappointed in the flea market. I mean, I bought some stuff, but let's turn it over to our flea market correspondent, Evan. Evan, what did you think of the flea market?
I made one pass through there and then I was out, man. I didn't. You picked up like 2 or 3 Hex Encounter games, didn't you?
I did. I picked up 1941 and 1942, some old Game Designer Workshop Hex Encounter, their Series 120 bookcase games. Yeah, I did.
That's what I thought.
I'm still not sure why one was so much more than the other. They're both complete. Whatever. Not going to ask. But it was a chance to pick them up. So I did. So I spent too much money on that. But yeah, I didn't see a lot. One, I didn't see things that were super grognardy. So, Steve, did you take a pass through to look at anything?
I did, and actually, I have kind of a PSA on the flea market thing that I want to give to people when they are going to get a table in the flea market. Because it has value to you does not mean that it is valuable. All right. So I just want to kind of put that caveat out there because there was some stuff that I
American
definitely
Pickers by Steve.
there was some stuff that I definitely was like, oh, I'd like to get that. Or there was and I don't want to like, just on the off chance that there's more people listening than my mom tonight, I don't want to like, put somebody on
Deeply
blast,
offend
right?
everyone.
But there was like somebody there that had like boxes of stuff that I was like, oh, I might be interested in like buying all of these and shipping them home. Right. And then it was very clear, like when he started talking about them, that he thought they were like rare, artifacts of, modeling history. And I was like, dude, they're just,
no way.
Because there's like, sometimes when there's not a lot of something left, it's just because it's garbage. It's not because it's rare, right? Like it's kind of.
Some of it has a price for nostalgia only. We went all the way to the back end and there were some old Dungeons and Dragons, Star Frontiers, a bunch of old 70s, 80s game miniatures in the crappy lead from that era that just has low detail, not great casts. And Chris Bergeron was back there with us. Chris was going through all the stuff and Chris was looking at it and, thinking through it. And I'm like, you're gonna pull the trigger? And he's like, no, I'm just here to take one nostalgic pass at him. And I am not spending that kind of money on metal that won't hold paint well, that won't do what I could do with a modern 3D print or a modern plastic miniature. So
to me, the flea market is kind of like the last stop before I just decide to throw it away. Right. So like once it hits the table at the flea market,
about my game collection like that.
No, once it hits the table at the flea market, that's like last chance to get something for it, or even just pass it on to somebody who has some appreciation for it. I wouldn't want to pack it all up and take it back home is kind of like my thought with it. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Did Mike Lewis bring you a big box full of books and stuff?
Yeah. So, okay. Serious is a heart attack moment here. This is kind of interesting. So the guys down in Vicksburg, when Jack Green passed away, obviously had all of his books to go through and stuff. And they were kind enough to curate out the Regia Aeronautica Mediterranean stuff out of his collection for me. So a huge thank you to the Vicksburg crowd. Some people say it's kind of creepy getting a dead guy's books. I think it's pretty cool when you get a friend who's a war game designer and a fellow war gamer, when you get a big chunk of their collection. At least, I have the game he wrote off of those books. 3 Black Cats, I think is the name of it. 3 something cats, about SM79s, and then all the reference books. So I don't have room on my shelf for all of those. But they're definitely going to get in the rotation to get up there. So thanks to Brian, thanks to Adam, thanks to the rest of the Siege of Vicksburg crowd. That was a really special moment for me, getting all those books. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I still haven't taken a good inventory of them, but there's a lot of stuff in there. So, and Mike Lewis was there with his 4,000 tanks. The guy still has tanks left over from Adepticon. So let's talk about flea market tanks.
Did Chris ever score some of those to take to Adepticon for his painting classes or something?
They're still in negotiation.
All right.
We'll see. I do have your stuff to give to Matt tomorrow when he and I have lunch. So some of your acquisitions to get painted. So.
Oh, right. I almost forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about those things. Yeah. Along with all the helicopters that I have to get painted, all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, flea market. I thought there were some cool things. There were some things that were good prices that I didn't need, so I didn't buy them. There were some things way overpriced or bundled. So here's my PSA. If you are a flea market vendor, it is a flea market. It isn't a dealership. It isn't in your benefit to only sell bundles and to be inflexible. Sell stuff. Move it. I was surprised how many guys or gals would have bundles of stuff. You're like, all I want is that one, but I'll pay the whole bundle price anyway. I just don't want the other stuff. No, I didn't know. Take the whole, but no, I don't want them. Sell them to someone else. I want that one model. But yeah, people weren't making deals. It seemed like at this one, unlike Wally's Basement at Historicon, I did a lot of wheeling and dealing there and talking to people and seeing what I could get to beat Steve as a grognard.
Who can make a deal in this economy?
Well, yeah, that I guess that's kind of the feeling I got. But Matt, you'd be pleased with me. I walked away from several Hex Encounter games. There were more GDW Hex Encounter games in the vendor hall. Didn't buy them. Looked right at them. Evan and I even standing there together, both panting softly, thinking about the smell of cardboard. But we put the boxes back.
So while you jokers were gallivanting in NashCon, speaking of Hex Encounter games, and due to the last podcast, I started looking for steampunk airships and stumbled on Catalyst Games Leviathans.
That sounds like a Matt problem.
Yeah, it is a Matt problem. It's totally a Matt problem. But now I've also gotten Aaron into it. So guess what? At some point, when I don't have a baby in my arms, it's slowly coming awake. You're going to have to get over here and play that.
It's outstanding. I'm actually looking forward to that. I remember I'd seen something about Leviathan, totally forgot about it. I guess it went through Kickstarter.
Yeah, so did Catalyst Games. It turns out apparently Kickstarter was a bit of a mess.
Matt has made it an Evan problem now as well because he's got me printing for him.
Yeah, I found
he figured out that I can be a print monkey too. So
I've got so many print monkeys.
Poor bastards! You never knew what hit you. Yeah, well, that's good. No, because I saw the photos of the models. It looks pretty cool. We may have to investigate that. It's an aerial game, airships and zeppelins and whatever.
They've got planes.
Well, we must have the planes.
They have the planes.
Shoot on the zeppelins. All right. So Friday night races. Steve, tell us about the Friday night races.
Yeah. So we finally debuted the death race, and wasn't really sure how it was going to go, but it's something that we have kind of talked about. I feel like we've been talking about it almost like as long as we've been playing Blood Red Skies, right?
Yes, because I think on day one, you're like, Gaslands and Blood Red Skies. How do I cross the two? Yeah,
right. And it was cool because we were finally just like, you kind of put me on the schedule to do it, right? And it got me kind of out of like the analysis paralysis, and it was like, yo, but just
gotta do it.
Do something and let's do it, right? Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like everybody had fun. The rules modifications that we kind of did were neat. Putting some terrain out there was cool. Flying a squadron with a mixed bag of different airplanes was a new like list building technique that I think went really good. But Evan and Brett both played in it, so I'll let them kind of give some of their thoughts on that.
Man, I had a blast. I have a large collection of BF 110s that in most circumstances don't really do much for me, but man, they were great in the race. They were fun to play. It was there were some jets on the table. It was
Yeah. Rose Napier threw a ton of jets out there. At one point, she was even trying to use an IL-28 Beagle. We were laughing about that. We're like, how do we put a 0-point bomber in the race?
I was tortured by jets, used and abused, and then I was killed. That's my death race story.
Yeah, well, someone's got to be the punching bag. Some days you're the window, some days you're the bug. So
it was fun though. Turns out being Speed 9 is not as great as you'd think. I zoomed out in front of everybody. My first thing I had the first plane. I had the most points left over, so I had the first plane to deploy. Put it on the frontmost spot closest to the first gate, and then first activation, it was him. Flew out there 9 inches in front of everybody, and I was like, well, that was actually a terrible idea because
that's not a great idea.
Everybody was 9 or 10 or 12 inches behind me, and just it went downhill from there for me. I think I got one plane through one gate, and then I lost 3 planes. So,
geez.
Yeah, I gave up after and then I just stopped trying to fly through the gates and just kind of went rogue on the race course, shooting people down. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun game. It's cool playing an aerial game also when you put terrain on the board, right? So we had some canyons to fly through, and we had like a bridge to fly under and stuff like that. So it kind of brings some of that creativity to an aerial game that you don't usually get also. So yeah, I think we're going to do it at Adepticon, right? Is that the plan, run version of it? Yep.
And in a field of jets and fast late war pistons, and Miriam with her zeros won in the end.
Did she just let all of you go out there and fight it out, and then just swept you all up from
she was constantly sweeping people from behind because she was slower. So she was always in position behind people. Shot me down once.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then she cut Brett off the pass. Brett almost had it in the bag, but she ignored a gate, flew past it, and cut him off and shot him down.
Oh, nice. Take the time penalty. That's fine.
Anytime you can play a game and, do the old fashioned, like cut them off at the pass. That's just like, yeah, you can't pass that opportunity up, right?
Absolutely not.
How did the mechanics work for that? Like substantially different than the BRS or?
So basically what we did is all of the rules of Blood Red Skies basically applied. So the tailing, the shooting, all that kind of stuff. You could take any planes you wanted as long as they were under the points. And then the one major mechanic that was different is rather than booming out with more boom chits than you had airplanes, however many aircraft you started with was your baseline for boom chits. So if you started with 4 aircraft, you needed 5 boom chits to boom out. It wasn't like if you got 2 planes shot down, then you only needed 3 boom chits, So it kind of kept people in a little longer. And then we had some gates you had to fly through. We also had an area of terrain that if you were disadvantaged over that terrain, it was like a collision, and you had to roll a dodge, which was kind of cool because there were some people that got into that terrain at advantage or neutral, but then people tried to maneuver kill them by, they'd fly up next to them, outmaneuver them, put them down to disadvantaged, and then they'd have to roll that dodge roll. And it was just I would say 90% of it was Blood Red Skies rules, and then just some caveats in there to make it more of a race than a dogfight.
I just remembered I never put my 3rd aircraft in. I only had, but I was boomed out is what it was for me, I think, right? I don't know. I only had 3 planes.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it at Adepticon. So it played really good with about 5 people. That was the other thing. You had a squadron of 4 aircraft was your maximum squadron number, but you were only allowed to have 2 aircraft on the board at a time. So the other 2 were reinforcements. When you got one shot down, then you put one in back at the starting line. I think it would go kind of slow if you had more people than 5. So maybe we'll do 2 different race courses for Adepticon so we could get 10 people in, maybe do 2 different tracks or something like that. I don't know. But I think more than 5 people, it would probably bog it down a little bit.
Yeah. No, that sounds absolutely doable, and didn't take a dramatic amount of space. So, I think you could easily throw 2 tables out there if you wanted to, and still have a furball table, still have a place to do stuff like speed dating or whatever. Because those are fun. I think the reality is the purpose of the window where we do the furball is to get people who've just showed up to the event, to the convention, just got there, don't know what to do, don't have anything signed up for. Oh, look, they're playing a little airplane game, and then come over and hang out with us and realize we're not total miscreants. We're actually cool people.
I'm really starting to, at least where my fun is coming from Blood Red Skies, is like really starting to lean towards like the speed dating, the furball, the death race, like I'm really kind of like the competitive aspect of Blood Red Skies is kind of like not really,
I don't believe you. And
well.
That's a perfect lead in to the next day, to the Blood Red Skies tournament, Saturday morning. Okay, so expectation management. I knew it was going to be a small event. I had a bunch of Lead Pursuit team members there, all ready to play. I think the first one thrown into the mix was Brett. I said, you were going to play, right? And then I said, oh, Steve, I need you to play. And then I forgot as people came up, that gave us an odd number. So Steve's like, do you need me to play? I'm like, screw it. I'll play. I'll even this all out. We had Evan in there. We had a number of others. We had a last minute show. He swore me to secrecy. So yes, Eric Marino came back, and I was not going to tell anyone. I knew it for about a week and a half, and we kept it quiet. So he rolled in to defend his returning NashCon champion result there. Well,
how'd that go for Eric?
That didn't go so well for Eric. That was an interesting tournament. You can go out there and you can see who fell out where on Longshanks. I will say Brett, the frickin' Uber Blue Falcon, top number 1 spot in the tournament. Nice work, Brett. Nice work beating up all the kids. We literally did have a kid there. So that was kind of cool. Had a brand new player that was interested in playing. So Archer, thanks for playing with us. Thanks for hanging out and playing Blood Red Skies. But for me, the best part was I got to play two of my Lead Pursuit guys. I mean, Steve and we haven't played, I seriously think, since Siege of Vicksburg #1. Yeah. That's the last time you and I have played a competitive format, and that was a best 2 out of 3, 500-point list that we played there, and that was awesome. I mean, I had a blast playing against both of you, and the joke of it was I beat Steve. I was talking a lot of shit, and Brett just spanked me. What did I make it? 3 turns, Brett, or only 2? It wasn't long. I got absolutely schooled by Brett. So that was a great time. And I'll be honest, I had a blast. Even losing to Brett, that was fun. First 2 rounds, any games y'all want to talk about before we talk about the third round?
Doug, you absolutely pushed my shit in. I think not joking, that might have been the first actual competitive game I played since that game that we played in Vicksburg. And it was, it was almost like I was a new player. You just absolutely just destroyed me.
So hold that thought. I haven't played a whole lot. I think I played the Vicksburg. You weren't there. I played in that tournament. And then I played the next one after, and I think that ended up being me and Mike Lewis. The thing you guys know about me is I don't like tournaments. I don't like competitive games. But dude, I've got a switch. When I get into those games, it's bloody, and I don't care. And I realize I'm across the table from a friend of mine. But yeah, Steve, I think there was a moment in that game where I looked at the table and every single one of my aces was trying to dog hump your one ace. And that had to be my strategy. I'm like, I have got to shoot this ace down. It is the only way I'll survive. Because you did a great job on deployment. You actually were in a pretty good position, and I had to deploy 1 unit between you, 1 unit outside of you. And I'm like, we'll see how this goes. I'm all split up. But I thought it was a hard fought. I thought it was a good game. That was not an easy win for me. It may have felt like a shellacking to you, but it was not an easy win for me. There was a lot of brain power I was trying to use. So anyone else on the first
with Eric, and it was a long game. It was a battle of attrition. I think we ended up, we both got a victory because we boomed each other out, but I think I had more, I just had more boom shits or something.
Right.
It was a plodding game. It was very
plodding and very thoughtful.
I enjoyed spanking Eric in my second game. I mean, right out of the gate. I mean, I shot down one of his planes. I think the first activation was just a shoot down right out of the gate. But I got spanked pretty hard in my first game. I had four TA-152s, and I took 10 boom chits in my first game. So 10 chits with 4 planes.
It's not physically possible. Yes,
it was physically possible. Yes. It turns out, yes, it is.
Turns out, in fact, yes, you can do that. Oh my God.
Dude, and then I doubled it up and then got beat by the new player, the new 11-year-old player, right after Doug. I was really having a great tournament. It was
you were having
too,
a rough.
Steve. He beat me too.
Dude, those kids, that's like when Pat's kid beat me at GOE twice. Yeah. And they kept beating me.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, do you want to play again? No, I don't want to play.
Good. Yeah, so it was
my game. What took so long?
All right, but we got to talk about the game of the tournament.
We'll talk about the game because the game, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Everybody wants to be in the big leagues. Everybody wants to be at the top table. In this case, it was the bottom table. So be careful what you ask for. Be careful the shit you talk. The game of the night was round 3, the bottom table for slots 7 and 8. Steve, tell us about the bottom table.
Yeah, this was probably a 2 or 3 Adepticon years ago. Eric had the idea of playing for pink slips and it never happened. Yeah, I mean, you know how Adepticons go, they just get away from
you
you,
always
right?
get busy and yep.
And I specifically painted P38s for that game and we never played it and totally honestly forgot about it and happened to build a P38 list. I was like, oh, it's a good time to try out the single engine rules, you know, because we always talk about getting a multi-engine plane out there. So we played for pink slips, my P38s versus his Wildcats. It was a game too. It came down to that last turn. It was something. It was something.
I had to laugh that so much shit had been talked about that game over years, and it ends up not being a top table game. Not, hey, we're in the middle of the pack. It is the bottom table for the last two slots. So that was funny. And that was a great game to witness. We have a clip of the exchange of planes at the end, and we'll throw that up on social media so people can see it. Well, to go back to the previous point about when Doug sees red and when Doug gets competitive, Rose Napier, who, you know, we've known for years and I've played a couple games against before, had great conversations about how to set up tournaments. As soon as you said you guys were playing for Pink Slips, Rose, who had beautiful, beautiful jets painted up, looks at me and goes, we're playing for Pink Slips too. And without a pause, without thinking, should I do this with a younger, newer player in the genre, or should I just be a raging dick and play for Pink Slips? Yes, I played for Pink Slips. Now, I thought it was a good game. Rose actually, you know, we talked afterwards and she kind of felt like it hadn't been as bad as I thought. But there was a moment where what Brett exploited of me getting my PS2 out by himself, you know, getting alone and unafraid. I did the same with Rose, and I looked down at the table and I'm like, Rose, I have lost this game. You're now just going to kill me. There's nothing I can do to get this guy back in my group. And she went down there, knocked him down to disadvantage, but didn't shoot him down. And then literally the game-winning boom chit came with a deflection shot on a jet. So Rose was rolling, I think, 14 or 15 dice, and pulled a Steve and rolled no sixes. And so I bagged Rose's jet and won that fight, and then got Rose's jets and was prepared to trade her my aircraft, which were actually Brett Cantor paintings. So Brett, thanks for painting my jets for me. But I was flying G55s, and those did me they did me right in that third game. But I felt a little bad for Rose, although I think I made it up because Matt, your A6 or A7s and A4s, the Eric Gen ones went to go fuel their gaming group's jet need. So nice. I got World War II jets. She and her group got Vietnam jets. So I think it's a fair trade out of the deal.
So that means you
Evan
had painted.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely, and that was kind of the point. I need to paint more. You know, Matt is not painting near enough. He needs to paint more.
Oh, I've got a time cap for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, good. How was game 3?
My game 3?
Yeah, your game 3.
I lost to Archie.
I forgot. Oh, you lost to Archie? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. Shouldn't have asked you about that. I didn't mean to embarrass you in front of the whole.
No, I don't care.
Not that Iron Dice lost to a child.
Hey, I did my normal pattern for Blood Red Skies tournaments, which is lose, win, lose. That's my standard.
There you go.
So we're keeping it alive. It's fine.
Elite average.
I'll choose another terrible fluffy list again next time.
Absolutely. That's the fun of it. Well, now that I own some Luftwaffe jets, I might have to actually fly jets in my next list. It's scary. But more importantly, so let's talk about this with the Blood Red Skies tournament. This is the last Blood Red Skies tournament at NashCon run by Lead Pursuit. So Rose and all of her friends over at the 502nd have volunteered to run the tournament next year at NashCon. Why do we do that? Well, because there's a lot of other cool things we want to do. And every event takes manpower, brain power, time away from us. So we've played a lot of tournaments, a lot of games with the 502nd. And so I know Rose and that crew really well. I'm really psyched, and they were really excited kind of as soon as we extended them the invite and said, hey, we'll provide the trophies. You guys run the tournament. They were super happy to do that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that'll probably be the way going forward, that we'll close out some events as Lead Pursuit tournaments and then go on and do other things. And so then we can focus on Beyond Mig Alley or doing Death Race, Blood Red Skies, because we love Blood Red Skies. I don't want anyone to think that we're abandoning Blood Red Skies. We're just turning the tournaments over to someone else because that's just not our thing anymore. So I know Steve's super disappointed about that.
Yeah, I could definitely, the one, like you said, like, still love Blood Red Skies, right? Like, we talked about it, and I talked about it with Brett, I talked about it with Evan, like, you cannot play it for a year, 2 years, right? And just pick it up and know how to play. I mean, I think that was me and Brett talking about that, right? Like, it's just, you just pick it up, play it, and you're good to go, right?
Yeah, I enjoy the system, and I think I actually played more Blood Red Skies than I played Merged this weekend, because I played the tournament. I played a BRS orientation demo. I did a Beyond Mig Alley variant of, for a couple guys. So I played a ton of Blood Red Skies this weekend amongst everything else. So I still enjoy the game. I just got to pick and choose which events we're doing and get people to host and run the other ones. So I think it'll be good. All right, let's talk then about what was next. Oh, yeah, Merged. I'll spare you all. I don't think, trying to remember, did any of you play in that one? That was Arab-Israeli Merged on Saturday. Brett, you were in that one?
Yeah, I got to play on that one, I think.
Yeah. Any thoughts? I mean, I know we've been dwelling a lot on Merged and talking a lot about it, but any big picture things?
Together, I probably played like 3 different games. I really liked it a lot. I really liked it a lot.
I will use Mike Finn's quote. This game does not suck. I don't know. I still think it sucks, but that's just because I'm the designer and we're still working on it. But
what did Rose say? No, I like that, whatever that was.
Whatever that was. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing whatever that was. So there's an element of this that, the game is obviously not where I want it to be yet. It's still in alpha or beta or whatever testing. I don't know. But the fact is, people are enjoying the game and they're enjoying what we have. And I think the biggest part of what we have is a maneuver system that makes jets feel like jets, makes them perform differently, makes you make tactical decisions. So there's a lot of other moving parts: situational awareness system, initiative system, all those things, radar, missiles, stuff we'll add over the next couple months. But big picture, the core of the game people seem to enjoy, which A, makes me happy, and B, is really kind of the purpose of it. I mean, you guys have heard me say it at every convention when I introduce the game and talk through why we're doing a play test. I could go write Doug's favorite jet game tomorrow. That's cool. I could do that. That's not the purpose. Purpose is to write a game that people want to play. So I think getting the feedback has been huge for that. Brett, were there any points, that you want to anchor on for that?
Yeah. So I don't know how to describe this exactly. In a way, it felt more 3-dimensional in a way than compared to Blood Red Skies. And I guess what I mean by that is, with Blood Red Skies, I'm going to move my aircraft forward some distance, maybe turn and move. And that's kind of it. And so I feel like the aircraft, I'm kind of sliding along a line and then turning. Whereas with this one, with Merge, what I'm feeling is happening is I'm imagining a spot on the table that I really want to try to get to. And I'm hopeful that the ranges and stuff are all going to work and my turn and thrust ability is going to let me get there. And I try for that. And sometimes I make it. Sometimes I get kind of close, but maybe not really exactly where I needed to be to get the shot off or whatever. But I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I guess it's not a description made for radio, but
no, I think there's a point to that, and we talked about it. There were some intentional design elements that half of the fun is as soon as something changes on the board, you're like, oh yeah, I got that guy, and where they end up their move, you're like, oh no, I don't got that guy, and you now go blowing past them or whatever. You can't make the intercept happen to shoot them that turn, so you take a low probability of kill shot.
Yeah, the curves and the energy are a lot more apparent in this game versus moving like a hockey stick, and I really appreciated that, if that makes sense.
I know Evan's chomping at the bit. Let me offer my perspective. Let me tell you what a pilot thinks, and you have to come off mute. So it's kind of like, remember, key the mic.
All right. I don't know why I used spacebar. It wasn't working. I slapped it like 10 times and it finally worked. All right. God, first of all, no, I know. It just feels good. I don't feel a need to announce myself in a room though, but no, it feels good. Like Brett was saying, I think the maneuver and the energy management system at the core, I don't know, it feels more airplane-like than 7 other games I've played in the past 3 years. Every bit of it gets a little bit right, and this one gets more of it right. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not perfect, but no. It gets more of it right.
That's a huge point. So, and it's now apparently thundering outside. One of the points that I'm the first to admit is there's a lot of stuff the game is going to get wrong. And there's a lot of things it's going to generalize, simplify, whatever. For me, the energy management and the turning to engage to maneuver, that part was what I cared about getting right. And so I'm glad that people go, hey, it at least does that right. When everyone says, I hate the initiative system, like, good, so do I. Let's fix that. And so we've spent a lot of time, Steve, Evan, Brett, hammering down on the initiative system and how to make that work.
I want to piggyback back to something Brett said, where he was saying he's kind of visualizing the table, and then sometimes he gets there and sometimes he doesn't, right? I think we got to a point eventually, excuse me, where me, Evan, and Brett were playing, and we kind of said, all right, let's not play this as a learn the rules play test. Let's play it honest, right? Like if we mess up our thrust, if we mess up, our turn, like we're not going to count 1, 2, 3 and then go, oh no, wait, go back. I meant 2, or and when we started kind of playing it honest and playing the mechanics how they're meant to be played, not as if we were learning the game, it really, really made it a lot of fun. And I thought that was really neat because the 3 of us kind of got to a point where we understood the rules enough that we could actually start playing, and then it allowed us to actually really play test the game because we were actually using the mechanics how it was intended to work.
I feel like no takesies backsies has to be like the number 2 rule in the book.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. And I gotta figure out how to put that in there because it's such a key component of. You've got to bid your thrust. You've got to bid your drag. You do all that stuff at the start before you even count any hexes. You can't sit there and go 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I'll use 3 thrust. No, you have done. It is your activation. Okay, I'm doing 3 thrust. Now I'm start moving, and once you start moving, no takebacks. We've been super super generous with that in the playtest, so people can see how turning works. But I think that's the way you play amongst friends, and that's the way that you'll have a good, honest game. And you're just going to make some hilarious mistakes. And there's going to be opportunities where you're 1 hex side off, and you don't get to take the shot.
And there's going to be times when you're Brett and you go supersonic at too high an altitude and you go flying right off the board.
I'm glad that makes 2 people, So
funny how
Steve
speed
and
23 Brett carries you kind of a good ways.
Especially when you start speed 23
hexes.
And you start that halfway across the board to begin with.
Yeah. Good call, Brett. Great plan. Matt, you've got that pensive look trying to think about, how do I understand this game?
I obviously haven't played it yet. It looks cool, like just from the pictures. And I will give it credit. I'm coming around to aircraft hex spaces. That was not something I really super liked. I actually prefer the way BRS does it with it feels more fluid to me, but watching or rather looking at pictures from the con and then what you guys have sent on the group chat, I'm like, okay, I see why this is like simplifying a lot of the crap that you have to deal with.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of the guesswork out, or the fudging or anything like that out. That there's if there's a question about arcs, it usually is easy to resolve. You know, things like that.
It seems to be doing it better than like Aeronautica Imperialis does, because when we've played that, or I've played that with you and Connor and everybody else, like probably about a dozen times, and I still can't wrap my head around this. But like, I can watch you guys play Merged and get a decent idea of what's going on and how to follow along with the game.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to break you out of the house and make you come play it on a Monday night. So
the moves are the moves are good in that I don't think that you could get it done with templates, because the way the EM curves and stuff are.
Yeah, those
the hexes become very practical for calculating your movements, and I was like you, kind of worried that it'd be like AI, because I just don't get it with AI, man. I haven't played a lot of games, but
I'm right there with you. I don't know what it is
on that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the way they have this, what is it, the swoop or whatever the hell it's called,
stoop and the swoop.
That's it. Yeah, the stoop and all that stuff. It just confuses the hell out of me. But something that doesn't have those weird templates sounds a lot more appealing to me.
Yeah,
I think I was able to get it though this pretty quickly, and it's pretty intuitive. I mean, there's the yo-yos and stuff that take a couple of iterations of doing them to sort it out. But
that's the hardest part to wrap your brain around.
Yeah, it's way less cumbersome to me than the maneuvers in the AI. You know, the little cheat sheet on the AI that always still baffles me.
Yeah, the other thing that I really liked about it is there were several times when you're playing dissimilar aircraft, right, that you're kind of like, oh, this is kind of working out like it should, where I'm going to take a little more of a bite out of the turn this turn, or this guy's going to kind of overshoot out in front of me and I'm going to try to go a little slower or maybe extend a little bit, so there were, I don't know a better word to use other than like thematic times where I was like, oh, we're kind of trading places with each other. Like we're in a scissors, or we're kind of in that one circle fight, it was neat.
We had that moment. I think it was the Thursday pickup game where you and I got in a rolling scissors basically. And it was kind of wild when I'm sitting there looking at how we're making these very short moves at very slow speeds and trying to slow our downrange travel, but still turn laterally. And it was a classic roller. I mean, we weren't depicting the altitude, but once again, altitude blocks in MERS are 10,000 feet. So I'm already in that same block doing that. So I thought it was fun. I've enjoyed working on it. We still got a lot of work to do. But I'm super appreciative of everyone who came out and played. We had full table both times. And everyone, came over, had a good time, had a good attitude about it. There were people that showed up having played Check Your Six and had very deliberate thoughts about how aerial combat should be. But I think every single one of the people that were skeptical at the start understood why things were done differently after they played a couple turns. Like, oh, okay, yeah, don't necessarily like that, but I understand why you did it, and so they figured that piece out. I don't.
All right,
just wants to play Check Your Six.
Two last comments here.
Terrible.
Two last comments here on this. One, the MiG-17 is now my favorite after flying it merged. That was a ton of fun when I flew those against Steve's A4s and getting into the slow turning fights that we were doing. That's fun. I wish I had known that I could have rolled 4 cannon dice instead of just 2. But
sorry, if only I had explained that rule. Yeah,
live and learn. 2, you mentioned altitude, and the altitude being 10,000 foot, and it's different from other games where they say they're this much, but then like in other games, you're very much, even if they say they're 6, 8, 10,000, you're still very much up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah. It's very expensive to go up and merged.
Yes, it is, and especially for a MiG-17.
and it feels like an altitude shift feels very deliberate and kind of big in a way that it doesn't in a lot of other games. And so one of the games I started down on the deck, and Steve started one altitude above me and then just kept climbing. and climbing, and
Just
climbing.
running away like
and I
a
was
little
just
scared.
I just had F4s, and I was trying to catch him one altitude band at a time. It was like 5 rounds, and we're finally at the highest altitude band, and then we started fighting. But I had no speed left by the time we got up there. It was just fun.
Nice work, Steve. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was your own teammate's fault because he started. What's Doug call it? The Moranosphere? Like
Yeah,
he
the
was
Moranosphere up in the top
Brett
block
started off
here.
in the Moranosphere. Well, that was our whole strategy. It was like, well, one of us start low, and wherever they go, the other one come down. We just didn't think they'd go high, and then I had to just like chug up the hill the whole time.
Nice. Well, I don't want to make this the merged debrief. It was a big part of the convention. It was a big thing of what we did, but there was a lot more to talk about. The one thing I did want to say is vendors. Did anyone see anything in the vendor hall that they specifically wanted to call out? I do want to give a shout out to Phalanx. They were there. Thanks. The team at Phalanx is awesome. They were selling even more of our airplanes. Steve's F-14s look so pretty in little plastic blister packs, but they had blisters of those, blisters of F-105s, a bunch of other stuff. So
decals.
There's someone I wrote it
Blue
down.
Falcon
yeah, that's
There's
right.
someone
They
I
had the Blue
wrote
Falcon.
down that I'm gonna end up giving a lot of money to for 15 millimeter buildings, but that's it. Whoever that was next to Phalanx, I can't remember. Was it?
Yeah, the one that's was in the opposite corner.
Yeah. They had a ton of.
They're at Historicon too. I can't think of their name.
Yeah, they had
right
a ton
now.
of resin 15 millimeter buildings that just looked really good. So I think we're going to buy up a whole bunch of those.
I go walk in their little gaming den of iniquity every year at Historicon, and then I walk back out because they have so many cool buildings and so many cool casts, and I'm like, nope, not even gonna look at it. So yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
Who was the vendor that had all that cool aerodrome custom dashboards or whatever?
Oh, I saw those and almost asked Doug to pick me up one of the wings because that looks so cool, and I just want to put it on my wall. Oh, those looked cool. Really cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool stuff there. So there was a wide variety. There's some people that weren't there. I-94 Enterprises wasn't there this year. Just not a big enough crowd for them. Sherwood was there. Phil got there on Saturday, but his crew was there beforehand. There were a couple gaps in the group. Griffin's Lair was going to come down, which is unusual for them. It's a hell of a drive. Glad they were going to do that, though. But then their vehicle broke, so they couldn't, or the trailer broke. There was some gaps in the vendor hall, but there were still a lot of cool things to walk around and see. And of course, spend your money on. So, any other convention buffoonery or stories or games we saw, games we wish we'd played? Not as many aerial war games this year. I saw a few in the main hall, but no big Ploesti raids. Didn't really see a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm going to throw an idea out there for convention organizers quick that I think could be a thing, right? You go to a lot of the conventions and they have like a board game library, right? Where you can like rent a board game. They need to do like a terrain library. Just have a whole bunch of terrain in a box that like, yo, you got a buddy you want to play a game with, but you don't have terrain. Come on over and rent a couple buildings and then bring them back, right? Because I mean, I don't think it is a rare occurrence at a convention where somebody like me and Brett, like we play once or twice a year at different conventions, right? And we fly and we can't bring boxes of terrain and stuff like that, but we want to play a game and we don't want to be intrusive and steal a tournament table or something like that. So maybe like something to think about along the lines of a board game library, just kind of a random terrain library.
Doesn't Adepticon kind of have that with Doug Houseman's stuff in the open gaming area? I think he does put out several different tables of terrain for open gaming.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
That would be super cool to see, more conventions do that. And, here have some 15 mil, have some 28 mil, have a couple tables set up that are just there for people to, you can make it all Western European terrain. You're probably going to get everybody. And you do that in a couple scales and then, people can go play on those tables. I think it'd be super cool.
Yeah. And like you said,
people always bring more miniatures than they have stuff to play with. That's how it is,
Like you said, like Western European terrain, that can be fantasy stuff. That could be any of the World War. You could use that for
Marvel Crisis Protocol in Serbia.
Absolutely. You could use that for anything.
Black Widow kicking people in the face again. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you could do with that. I think having a dedicated open gaming area with someone who's managing it, so it's not just empty tables. I think that would be a super cool thing. The NashCon team is awesome. They've supported us so well. That's an easy one to suggest to them. And of course, I think then the answers can be, so Doug, what terrain are you bringing? Got some really old 40K terrain. That's about it. But anyway. All right. Well, I think that kind of summarizes everything that we saw, smelled, heard, experienced at NashCon. Any last minute, oh, by the ways, alibis? Anyone want to throw anything out at the last minute? All right. I will say we now have more tokens on their way. So if you were at Adepticon and you got a Fly Hard token, we've now got tokens for our new tagline, because you want to fly hard and feel the thrust.
Hey, Evan.
What, Matt?
Can you do a pilot voice?
That was awesome.
You just want me to go like 1 hour and 42 minutes up to this day today.
Why do pilots talk so low on the PA? I can never understand them in the airplane. Yet, as soon as a flight attendant gets on the PA, it's like this. Get back in your seats. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but I never can hear the pilot. Like,
everyone thinks they're doing it for radio.
Steve sounds different on the radio when he's in the pattern.
Yeah, they literally, I was literally told, somebody asked me if I had throat cancer.
Jesus.
They were like, when I was at the FPO one day, they're like, man, you sound weird on the radio. Do you have like a throat disease or throat cancer or something? I was like, no.
It's gotta be the worst.
Only sometimes, dude.
I just won't make radio calls anymore, so good luck with that, asshole.